Many thanks for your company here. In our first story, Auditor General Daniel Domilovo is urging the government to ban contract employment of retirees to make it easier for graduates to be employed and save the state some money. He further explained the trend is a drain on the national coffers since beneficiaries receive double income as pensioners and salaried workers. Speaking at the launch of the 2018 Professional Week celebration of the University of Professional Studies Faculty of Accounting and Finance on Monday, Daniel Domilovo noted the re-engagement of retirees blocks promotions of qualified persons and prevents the employment of fresh graduates. I'm joined by labor expert Austin Gami to delve deeper into this issue. Good morning, sir. Great to have you.
How are you? I'm
doing great. Thank you for agreeing to do this. Now, we've heard from Mr. Domilovo. He's definitely not a labor expert. You are. He's given us the financial implications in terms of how this trend is affecting our state coffers. But let's delve deeper into this situation. More than 1.2 million people in Ghana are believed to be unemployed. Is the suggestion that dealing with this contract employment of retirees a way to solve the unemployment problem not overstretched?
Thank you. I think in part, I was wondering whether he listened to an interview I granted somewhere and therefore lifted from what I said. So I was going to send him an invoice for plagiarism. So I agree with you. And I think that is only proper that we put this in perspective. It may not solve all the problems as far as employment is concerned, but indeed is a way of ensuring that we bring sanity to prevail in the system. Because it would be inappropriate for people who are older and have given all their services, maybe between 20 to 25 years, thereafter to be engaged virtually on wholesale basis, if that is the case, on contract basis again. That would be quite something, a mouthful to worry about. So I think I agree with him generally that that should not be the case. Let me break it up.
Hello, Mr. Gami.
Yes, should I proceed?
Sure, you can, sir.
All right. You see, our law clearly states that we should retire at 60. Now, exceptional, specific, specialized areas, such as some professors in the teaching fraternity, some judges, and maybe other science-related things have been given some dispensation. Go 70 years old. Given this dispensation. Therefore, they are free to continue their service. But there are several other areas where we do not actually need people to hang around for many more years. Administrators and office managers, maybe of HR people, they are producing a wholesale of them from various investors. Is to enable us to train people deliberately through mentoring and coaching, if that is what we want, if that not from people ready to from people who are aging. And if there are people who are exceptionally having certain qualities, and we do not have immediately people to take over from them, what can be done would be to give the people sparingly, we give people some short-term contract, not a long-term contract. Short-term would mean 6 months, maximum 1 year, and this had to be done sparingly, not as a rule. And we should not, under any circumstances, make this thing a business, because we have people who have been already trained, who have come out from the various ladders of educational institutions, and who should have the capacity, if we can give them just a little bit of 6 months, 1 year mentoring and coaching, they should be able to fill in the gap or through some specific orientation that will be given when they are engaged. So I think that it's not fair and it's unbalanced and improper for anybody to give further contracts to people in this country. I do not think it's proper at all.
Now, Mr. Kame, would you consider it a failure on the part of our system for the lack of people to take over these positions? Because usually that's the argument, that we don't have the experts to take over when these people retire, and so they need to be contracted by the state again.
It's a very shabby argument, to say the least. The point is that we need mentoring and coaching is a part of learning process. It's something that must be learned, and people with a certain credibility and integrity should be able to mentor people and coach people. Coaching is not just a figure of speech, it's something that is done real. And so our universities must consciously have a department responsible for mentoring and coaching, and I do mentoring and coaching. All I want to draw attention to is that we need to prepare people to take over. It will be improper if I have experience, and I think that my services will be required by the society. Let me go and create a consultancy. People have no choice than to flock towards me and ask for my services. That way, we are developing the country. You'll be also creating further employment. But for us to claim that somebody has a specialized knowledge and is only fit for an office, then he's not worth a consultant. It's not worth that specialized person we are talking about. A specialized person his services must be readily available and usable by the whole nation. People must be flocking towards you, and you must create employment by that.
Mr. Game, now another angle to all of this has to do with the retiring age. We've had in times past suggestions that it be extended, and we've also heard of situations where some civil servants, find ways to adjust or massage their ages so they delay their retirement. Is it time to consider, reviewing our retiring age?
Well, I've heard a number of people say this about retiring age. I think it's an unfriendly thing they are doing to the society. We have a number of young people coming out from school not having employment opportunity, and we still are considering in this 21st century to have people to be working up to the age of 7. I'll be 70 years next year. I am running my own consultancy. I've employed not less than 25 people, very high level people. And so I'm helping to create employment. If anybody thinks that he has the capacity and he is a very notable person in this society with some knowledge and understanding and skills, he should create some job and even further expand by employing people. But for us to say that I am a know-all, and therefore, if I'm not there, what about if you die? Our very senior person who lived all the way to about 90-something years old, KB Asante, was recently laid to rest. May his soul rest in peace. What about if they give him contract? He has been doing certain notable things in your station in various other places. He's been very useful to the society until his death. Anybody who is 60 years old, our constitution, our laws variously says that you must retire. You would have rendered over 20 years service already. SNIT would have taken over you. So please, people should stop bringing this unhelpful argument to society.
Mr. Kami, should unemployment really be the sole reason for not considering a review of our retirement age, considering that we are churning out more people from universities than those who are exiting the civil service or any other sector? So should that be the sole reason for not extending or considering a review of the retirement age?
Well, in part, you've said it yourself already. People that we are churning out, over 200,000 people into the job market annually, should be of great concern to us. If for any reason, and there is a specific, that's why I use the word sparingly used, if there is any specific knowledge that is unavailable, and we have only 2, 3 people, such people in the society, and they have to give them a short contract, that itself is an admission of failure for us not training and mentoring and coaching people. You see, this is an admission of failure, and I don't want to be part of that society. I think that we should consciously and deliberately, if you like, begin to introduce mentoring, coaching, and specific skills development processes in this country through various institutional ladders to begin to prepare people for this type of thing. And please, when someone retires and he is still a user, his knowledge is still to be used by the society, he is welcome to move into other areas and leave the administrative and chief director post people cannot do chief director post, and we still have to retain people on contract as chief directors. Then our society is sick. We have a problem.
Now, finally, Mr. Game, we've heard the Auditor General urge government to desist from contract and employment of retirees. You've also backed that call, but how do we make sure this becomes a reality?
So, to start with, we have laws already. It is not going to be a new thing to be invented. We must learn to respect these laws, and as a matter of routine thing, I know a lady who works in one of the very important organizations in this country. He's beginning a program of mentoring, getting people to mentor and coach people to enter into very high-level, skilled, required jobs in this country. Some of the people have been assigned to some people I know. Myself, I've been assigned one person far away from Kumasi who is coming to me to be assisted in that direction. This way, we are preparing the country for tomorrow. Why should it be me alone? Why should it be you alone? Why should it be somebody who should occupy that particular place because he has a tremendous knowledge that is not available? Like I said earlier, that clearly shows that we have a big problem on our hand of not developing people. Then we are being selfish. We the grown-ups, we are being selfish in the country. We should stop doing this thing we want to do to ourselves. Government yesterday, government today, and tomorrow to come should to be offices where people are available to be able to do it. Let's train people, let's develop skills, let's mentor and coach people to be ready for the job market.
Thanks for joining the program, Labour expert Austin Game there. Well, we spoke to some people on the streets of Accra on their take on this advice from the Auditor General.
Well, I think it's due to a number of factors. One, most often than not, lately, the kind of graduates that we have coming out of the universities are not that experienced, one. Two, some of them just passed through the university. The university did not pass through them. You know what I mean? So their output is very low. Now you compare that person to somebody who has worked on the ground, who has gained a lot of experience. That person, the work comes to him very easily. He will do it without any problem. Now, another issue is the amount for training. Now, if you want to get new people in order to do some of the works that the old guys have been doing, you need to let them understudy the old guys whilst they work. Now, you end up paying for two, whilst you could have paid for one, because you need to also pay for the younger one who is under training and pay for the older one who is working. So thereby the company source of increases its cost overheads. So I think it's a combination of the two. When they want to cut corners, they would want to just pick one person at a time. But I would advise that you need to let the young also gain the experience, because the old may die. The young dies too as well, but ideally the old will die and leave the young. So in as much as you want experienced people to work, you need to also grow another generation of experienced people. So on that score, I would advise that sometimes companies spend a bit more money in order to let people get some requisite training. Capacity building is very important in any environment. So I think that is the problem. That is the problem generally.
That they can employ them because they are thinking of experience that they've gained all over the period they've been in the business. Just because, let's take security personnel for instance, those who have gone on retirement as military men and then maybe police they have the technical know-how, they know the talent, the knowledge involved. So some serve as an advisory counsel to the young ones that they employ. So based on that, they blend the two. When they blend the two, I think the country can move forward.
As much as we need the old guys to come on board, because of course we need their experience and all that. We also look at the fact that the youth are also unemployed and we need work too. So I think it's got to be a combination of both, you know, a bit of this and a bit of that. Leadership would need some people with some level of experience to be able to do the job.
There's no work to be done, and the few ones that are in existence, you are giving it to people who have really enjoyed, and you want them to continue enjoying, which is unfair. There are people in their position, so anytime they retired, those behind them have the experience to fill in the gap, and they will recruit new additional ones to fill in those people who are. So there's no need giving them that opportunity. There's a need for new graduates to be employed and enroll.